of Skeem Saam. So, like, let's get started. Okay, let's get started. So, a lot has been happening, but mainly they were focusing on Lehasa, Preachy, and Khewzi's storyline. So, I have some notes here with me that I'll be like looking at if you're wondering what I'm doing. Um, so, let's start with Lehasa. So, finally, Lehasa has now found out that Khewzi is pregnant from his uncle Pumulo. Uh, he was with Preeti at that time because Preeti managed to visit him at last, which was a bit of a shock to Preeti as well. Like, she didn't know that Khewzi was pregnant. So, it was like a punch to the gut, really. She really didn't want to be in that position where now that the man that she loves is going to have another child with the woman that tried to kill her. It was just too much for her to take. Even for Lehasa as well, because Lehasa was in total shock. Like, it actually made him, you know, get a bit like emotional, I think, and it was getting to him in a way that I think his heart couldn't take it. You know, he was in pain, so everything was just falling apart in his eyes. He didn't expect it as well. He wasn't ready for this because I don't think he wants to be in a relationship with a woman like Kwezi. On top of that, have a kid with her. Do you know how crazy that would be to be dealing with a woman like this as the baby mama? It it would be like just headache all the time, and you never know what she'll do. Like really, you wouldn't know, and so they had to like get rid of Pretty, because the doctors were rushing in because it looked like he was coding a bit, like he was either losing his breath. I don't know what was going on, but I think it was the news of Quaid being pregnant that brought that kind of reaction. So they had to leave the room, and then the doctors came in and took over. But thankfully, it was just the the wound on his chest that was giving him that reaction as well. But I think it was also the shock. Let's talk about. I mentioned that Preeti obviously went to visit um, Lehasa, but I didn't touch on the fact that the reason why we didn't see her arrive on last night's episode is because she was being cautious because she suspected that it might be Crazy who sent that message like she did previously. She fell for it, and this time she was like, "Do you know what? I'm not gonna fall for this again. What if it's Crazy who sent me this message?" So she was being cautious. That's why we didn't see her um, on last night's episode where Pumula was actually calling, then the phone went to voicemail. You know what I mean? It was just like, it was just too much for her. And I think she was trying to process if she should go to the hospital then. But I think it was a great idea that she came today because it gave her time to really think about what should I do next? You know, is me going to the hospital gonna benefit me in any way? So she was caring more about her life than the love she has for Lehasa in that moment. But now that she came, I think it was the right time for her to come because she had time to process everything. She had time to really think things. She really had time to think things through. Yeah, she did. So Now that she's there, they had a moment. They were holding hands. You know, like she wants this to be over and just be with her husband. And then she said husband, with her boyfriend, with her lover. Like that's all she wants. She wants to be with Lehasa. Is that too much for to ask? Is it too much to ask? Like really, just give these two time to just live and enjoy the relationship. But until Khewzi is out of the picture, that will never happen. Never. Oh, speaking of which, when I was looking at the credits, when the opening credits on this Skeem Saam opening credits, it looks like Khewzi is going to be a regular cast, which is amazing, and it means that that storyline is going to, you know, go on a bit longer than I suspected. Because I think they also want to touch on her pregnancy, which is a great idea, and I'm here for her being a regular cast. I mean, um, it was time. It was time for her to give something except just guest starring. When I love it. Let me see. I said, oh, okay. I said after shooting. Okay. Let's now talk about Peterson. So Peterson has now detained Khewzi. Hello, hello, yeah, uh-huh. I'm here for it. So Peterson decided to detain Khewzi for 24 hours, which he's allowed to because it's the law. You can detain someone for 24 hours without charging them. So that's what Peterson did. But before he did that, he was like, let me tell you my thought of what really happened that night. I think that Preeti and Hasu were in a romantic dinner. They had a lovely night, and then you came, and you are the one who stabbed Lehasa, not Preeti. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? But she didn't say anything. But towards the end, she did go to jail. She's like in a holding cell, until she gets officially charged. She'll be there for 24 hours. And I think she's like, oh, this is crap. This is just not what I needed right now. She even said that hopefully the guy that she hired to assassinate Preeti has done the job. Now, baby girl, your plan failed dismissively. It failed badly. Preeti is still alive and kicking, and she's with your man. She's not really living the best life of hers, but she's alive, which is a bit of I think it's a good thing for now. But Khewzi is frustrated, angry. She did not want to be in that position where she's now arrested. She never thought that all the crimes she's done will get back to her. So I'm not surprised that she's that pissed off and annoyed. Now we'll see how that goes with Khewzi after 24 hours, which is gonna be tomorrow. Is she gonna be released, or is she gonna she's not being charged, so she can't pay bail. We'll see if she's gonna be released tomorrow. Now let's talk about Phumulo. So I said Phumulo now knows the truth about what really happened that night. So I said that Preeti did come to the hospital, and while she was there, she was able to tell Lehasa's uncle the truth of what really happened that night. And he said, you know what, I'm not surprised that this is your story because I know what Khewzi is capable of, so I'm not surprised that you're telling me this. But how are we gonna go ahead with this? You know, she's pregnant. You know, there's so many variables to really see before we take any action. We need to make sure that we're not gonna kill Khewzi before we save the kid, like the baby. You know, there's a lot of pieces that need to be factored into before they make any huge life-changing decisions. Um, we'll see how that goes with Pomelo and the truth. Now let's talk about the scene where Lehasa is having flashbacks when Notile and Leto tried to warn him about Khewzi, but he didn't listen. No, the couple, I think it was last season where Notile was in, and she tried so hard to warn Lehasa about Khewzi. She told Lehasa that Khewzi is crazy. She nearly destroyed her father's career. By that time, Lehasa didn't want to listen to anything that Notile had to say because he was in love. He was smitten. It was kind of like lust basically, and he didn't want to listen to anyone by himself. But Notile did warn her. I mean, sorry, not her, him, but Khewzi. And then Leto also tried to warn him about Khewzi after they got engaged. He was like, "Is this not too soon? Why are you marrying this woman? You don't even know who she is and what she's capable of. Think before you act. You can't just get married to this woman. You need to know who she is." But what did Lehasa do? He didn't take the advice because his pride didn't let him really take Leto and Notile's advice about Quiz, because all he wanted to see was surface level. He was not really digging into what kind of personality Quizzy had or had really. Now look where he is. He's in a hospital with a wound on his chest because he did not listen. Um, Now let's talk about this lady called Mandoley. So obviously Mandoley is going through a lot right now. I said Mandoley still wants nothing to do with Pretty. I mean, she's still hurt. She's really hurt. I understand that her daughter lied to her and it hurt her. Okay? But Pretty needs you, Mandul. Please do not let your anger and your frustration make you lose the daughter that you love because of your pride. No, your pride is going to be the end of you. Your other daughter and son are trying to show you that you cannot kick out Pretty because of her actions. She's not safe out there. But does one to listen? No. Because she's such a hard head. When she's stuck to her own beliefs, she will never ever move. Like, she's so angry all the time. She needs to go through therapy and figure out why she's that angry. Like, she actually worries me as a character because I've never seen someone this angry. She has so much anger in her that I don't think she realizes she has it. So she's taking it out on her daughter, her son, and her grandson. Like, why are you that angry? Your family is trying to save you from that anger. You're always stressed because you're angry about something. You never sit down and cool down and think, okay, how can I deal with the situation without me being angry? You're always freaking angry. This is why you end up in hospitals. Stress, the stress that you face all the time, you can get rid of because there's no need for you to be this angry all the time. No need at all. But we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, she'll swallow her pride and Preto will come back home sooner than later. Okay? Um, Still on the Mandoley situation, I said Mandoley is taking her frustrations on Clement, which is actually her grandson, about Preeti's relationship with Lehasa. Guys, Kermit is in deep trouble by default because all that he knew was that Preeti was in a relationship. He didn't know who that person was. So for his grandmother to be that angry towards him for something that he didn't even know about, I don't get that. I honestly don't get that. Why are you angry about something that your grandson didn't even know? You're taking your frustrations on him because you couldn't control a situation that you had no idea it was going on. But in the meantime, please stop being angry at your grandson. He's innocent in all of this. This was Preeti's decision to do. You can't blame Kermit for your daughter's actions. He did not control Preeti. Preeti has her own mind. She has her own thoughts. So how could you blame your grandson for Preeti's actions? Uh, do you see how crazy that is? Like, if you deep it, there's no need for her to be shouting and yelling at Kermit for something that he couldn't control because he can't control Preet. She has her mind of her own. So why would you think just because he knew about a relationship but he didn't know who it was, why are you angry at that? How can you be angry at that? I don't get that. Anyway, let's talk about Zamu. So I mentioned him earlier about how Zamu is realizing that Preeti needs to be home because she's not safe out there. I mentioned it previously in my live reviews that Preeti is a walking target. She's literally a walking target. And if Mandoley does not take her back, she's going to end up in a ditch somewhere because her pride do not let her to actually be more aware of what's going on. So Zamu is trying to make Mandoley realize that Preeti is not safe out there. She needs to come home. But as you all know, she's stubborn. Mandoley is stubborn. You cannot tell this woman to do something that she doesn't want to do. But hopefully she listens to Zamu before it's too late. But I do respect Zamu for actually now putting things to perspective and realize that the way he reacted about Preeti and Lehasa's relationship was unnecessary. It was just an overreaction to a small situation that can be talked out, not be angry and putting words in other people's mouth and just there's no need for that. So I think for him to realize that before it's too late, I respect him for that. Finally, I said let's go back to Peterson. I said Peterson informs Pumula about Khewzi being detained in jail due to new evidence he has acquired. No, so at the end of the episode, Peterson went to Lehasa's apartment and found Lehasa's uncle there. Obviously, he informed him about Khewzi being arrested, detained for questioning about the incident at the apartment. And he believes that obviously Preeti did not do the crime, and he agrees, which is a good sign for Preeti and a good sign for Lehasa, because now the truth will be out. But the reaction that I got from Pumulolo was not the one I suspected, because I thought he would be happy. I think the reason why he was just not reacting the way I wanted him to react is because now that Khewzi is in jail, so much is at risk because she knows a lot about the Maposes' dealings. On top of that, she's pregnant. So how could they deal with this without them being compromised? I think that's why he looks like, oh crap, what's gonna happen now that Khewzi is being detained and questioned about the incident that happened in the apartment. He's happy about Peterson investigating the crime, but I don't think he's happy that Khewzi is detained. Because knowing how unpredictable Khewzi is, she can open her mouth and say something that is wrong and that can incriminate the Maposes. I think that's what he's worried about more than actually her being in jail. I think I'm just assuming, but that's how I see it. Anyways, guys, I enjoyed tonight's episode. Just let me know what you thought about it, because to be honest, it was thrilling, it was juicy. There's, nuggets here and there which are being explored, which I'm excited about. I mean, I enjoyed every bit of it. There's progress in terms of Preeti and his relationship and the investigation about Lehasa's stabbing. Obviously, we'll see how that goes in the next coming episodes. But for now, that's it. I hope you really enjoyed this review. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Okay, don't forget to click on the notification bell to get notified when I post a new video. Peace. Wow.